Assalamu alaikum listeners, welcome to the show Spinoff, where we talk about ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024. Group 2 has been finalized in ICC Men's T20 World Cup, and England and South Africa have been qualified from the Group 2. England beat USA and South Africa has defeated West Indies in the game that was played today morning. But in this World Cup, USA has been treated the way they should have been treated for the first time. Considering that they were an associate member of ICC, they were treated in that way, and England won the game by a big margin, whereby they qualify for the semi-finals. And it was an outstanding game of cricket. But the game against South Africa and West Indies was something which must have made a lot of West Indies fans very disappointed, because this game was very close, and had it not gone into the Duckworth-Lewis method, West Indies could have won that game. So we'll talk about both these two games in our today's show, and a lot of important games coming up in the Group 1 as well. India has to take on Australia, and another game to be played tomorrow morning. So we'll talk about this Group 1 games, whereby two teams will qualify for the semi-final from that group as well. We'll move towards the song. When we come back, we'll start off our conversation with the game between England and USA, where England completely dismantled USA, and the way they won the game, they actually showed that they can win this kind of big games against sides like USA, and now they will be a big threat to the team in the semi-finals, and we'll wait and see as to whether Australia or India meet England in the semi-finals. One of the listeners has to say that this T20 World Cup is the World Cup of hat-tricks, and he's absolutely right. Yes, the third hat-trick of this T20 World Cup has been scored, and it has come from Chris Jordan from England. He actually took 4 wickets in the over, but he has made the 9th hat-trick of the T20 World Cups overall, and this is the third hat-trick of this tournament. So before this tournament in T20 World Cups, only 6 hat-tricks were scored, but this World Cup has produced 3 already, 2 from Pat Cummins and 1 from now Chris Jordan. Alright, and we are going to analyze this game where this hat-trick came between England and USA. England actually won the toss at the Kensington Oval ground, and they chose to bowl first. This is how they operate. I mean, when they play against an associate side, they want to bowl first, because then they have the chance to chase down the total in very quickly, so that their net run rate goes up. This is what they exactly did in this game, and Adil Rashid was their man of the match performer, because he bowled exceptionally well in the middle, and we saw that USA was cruising at one time, but as soon as Adil Rashid came in to bowl, he actually put the brakes on USA's side, and we saw that USA's captain Aaron Jones, who was their star player in the beginning, finally is failing in this Super 8 stage of the tournament. And if we talk about USA's batting, they could only score 115 in 18.5 overs. Nitish Kumar, their middle order batter, he scored 30 in 24 deliveries. Harmeet Singh, who is their all-rounder, he scored 21 of 17, and Corey Anderson, ex-New Zealand cricketer playing for USA, he scored 29 of 28 deliveries. So all in all, not a great total that USA could score, and we have seen that in Super 8 they found it very difficult to play against teams like West Indies and against England, though they put up a good fight against South Africa, but they could not replicate those performances against USA and West Indies. Alright, so bowling performance, Chris Jordan, like I said, outstanding. Took the third hat-trick of this tournament, and first England player to score hat-trick in ICC tournament. So a lot of congratulations to Chris Jordan, and he was outstanding. He did not allow USA batters to score any runs. He only conceded 10 runs. Adil Rashid, man of the match performer, and leg spinner, who we emphasize that spinners are going to be very critical in this tournament, and that is exactly what has happened. We saw Indian spinners doing so well. We have seen England spinners doing so well. South Africa has relied heavily on Tabraiz Shamsul Shamsi, and we saw when we analyze the next game, we'll see that Tabriz Shamsi also took 3 wickets in the game that was played today morning between South Africa and West Indies. So coming back to this game and England's bowling, there Liam Livingstone, who is their all-rounder, he also took 1 wicket and conceded 24 runs. Sam Curran, their bowling all-rounder, took 2 wickets, conceded 23 runs, and Reece Topley took 1 wicket and conceded 29 runs. So all in all, great bowling performance from England. Again, they proved that they are a very good side in terms of bowling, in terms of fielding, and the captaincy from Jos Buttler is also outstanding. If we look at the breakdown of their batting, they scored 48 for 2 in the power plays, and like I said, they were great in the beginning, but in the middle overs, Adil Rashid put the brakes on USA innings, and in 7 to 10 overs, they only scored 17, conceded 1 wicket, and between 11 and 15, they were 26 for 2, and in 16 to 18.5 overs, they scored 24, and they lost 5 wickets. So they could only score 115, and they played 55 dot balls. And like I said, the biggest problem with USA in this round is that their middle order, and especially their captain Aaron Johns, has not been in good form, and because of that, whenever they reach the middle stage of the innings, they lose wickets and they can't score big runs. So this target was not that difficult for England. They chased it down very easily. When England came to bat, they were slightly giving respect to USA bowlers in the first 2 overs, but what happened after that was a complete Jos Buttler show. He scored 83 of just 38 balls, and England managed to chase the total down in just 117 in just 9.4 overs, and 117 runs were scored by England in just 9.4 overs. And in 1 over, Buttler hit 5 sixes to Harmeet, and this was outstanding. एक वक्त ऐसा लगा कि बासित अली ने जो 6 मारने का कहा था वो बटलर को कहा था. So he took charge on Harmeet, and it was outstanding to watch the way Jos Buttler hit all his 6s towards the front side of the ground. Was outstanding to watch, and 1 6 that he scored was for 104 meters, which is one of the biggest 6s of this tournament. Outstanding inning, a captain's innings from Jos Buttler, and something that we wish to see from our players, but obviously our team is not qualified for the Super 8 stage, and the news is that Babar Azam has also come back to the country. So I'm sure very soon we expect a press conference from Babar Azam or from PCB, so that we have clarity as to whether he will be part of the test series that Pakistan has to play Bangladesh, because right now he's not in the list of players who are there practicing for the test cricket. So a lot of news has to come from the 15 players who were part of the T20 squad. We'll keep updating you about it. Coming back to this game between England and USA, which allowed England to qualify for the semi-finals. One highlight of this match was Jos Buttler's outstanding innings, and he's done it more than a couple of times in this tournament only, and he's somebody who is outstanding in ICC Men's T20 World Cups, and his strike rate is also outstanding, not just in this game but overall also. So in this game, like I said, nothing much to talk about USA's bowling, because they were completely dismantled by England, and especially Jos Buttler, and in front of Phil Salt, who is their another opener who generally takes the charge in case of their batting especially in the power plays. But in this case, Jos Buttler was outstanding, and he tore USA bowling apart and scored outstanding 83 of just 38 balls. Alright, so the next game that was played today morning between South Africa and West Indies, this was a very close game, and I'm sure a lot of West Indies fans will be very disappointed with this game. And had it not been the Duckworth Lewis method, West Indies could have won this game. We'll talk about this game in details, because this game was actually make it or break it for West Indies, and with this loss, West Indies is out of the World Cup, and West Indies was one of the teams which was expected to play the semi-finals and win the World Cup, but that isn't to be. Alright, so the game between South Africa and West Indies, which was played today morning, outstanding game of cricket, very hard wicket to score runs, but South Africa won the toss and chose to bowl first at Sir Viv Richards Stadium, and eventually it was a good decision to bat second, because we saw that as soon as the rain came in, the wicket became easy to bat on. So everything is going for South Africa in this World Cup, and I've seen some of the messages you guys are saying that another waste of semi-final spot, because we all know that South Africa is known to choke in the big matches, and hope that it doesn't happen this time round. And let's see that whether they can win this T20 World Cup. They haven't won it so far, and but yes, they have won all of their 7 games in this tournament so far. 4 games in the round of Super 20 and 3 games in this round. They top the group 2 and they qualify for the semi-finals. They will play against the team that comes second in the group 1, and we know that group 1 is to be decided today. Coming back to this game, another good thing apart from winning the toss the South Africa did was they brought in their spinner Tabraiz Shamsi. So in these 2 games, first game Adil Rashid, who is the spinner for England, he was the man of the match, and in this game also Tabraiz Shamsi was brought in. He took 3 wickets. He conceded only 27 runs, but that wasn't much because he's outstanding bowler. He does concede runs, but he took 3 wickets and he was the man of the match in the game as well, and he actually put the brakes on West Indies innings. If we look at the batting performance from West Indies, Roston Chase, who's their all-rounder, he top scored for them. He scored 52 of 42 balls, and Kyle Mayers scored 35 of 34. Andre Russell, another star all-rounder for West Indies, scored 15 of 9. So all in all, 135 for 8. Obviously, at the halfway stage, it looked very small total, but at one stage, South Africa was struggling to chase it down, but thanks to the rain, which made this pitch quite easy to bat on. We'll talk about South Africa's chase, but if we look at the South African bowling, Tabraiz Shamsi, their man of the match, took 3 wickets, conceded 27 runs, and Keshav Maharaj, another spinner, he took 1 wicket, conceded 24 runs, and Aiden Markram also bowled and took 1 wicket and conceded 28 runs. So we are going through the game that was played today morning between South Africa and West Indies. An outstanding game of cricket, and the pitch was such that spinners were unplayable, and you can imagine how this pitch was supporting spinners, that South Africa's premier bowler Rabada only bowled 2 overs, Jansen only bowled 2 overs, and their captain Aiden Markram bowled full quota of his 4 overs. And outstanding captaincy from Aiden Markram. The way he read the pitch, the way he selected the team, the way he utilized his spinners, all of it was spot on, and we expect South Africa to continue their good form in the semi-finals as well, because there is no Pakistan team, so we want South Africa to win. And I'm sure you guys will also be supporting some other teams, and we already know that England have qualified. England are the reigning champions. They're defending their title, and they've been outstanding in this tournament. But South Africa, they were lucky in the first few games, and they still are lucky. They won the toss yesterday, and it was a great toss to win, to actually win and opt for bowling first. So if we look at the breakdown of West Indies innings, in the power plays they could only score 47. They conceded 2 wickets, and between 7 and 10 overs they scored 22 without losing a wicket. Between 11 and 15 overs they scored 28 and lost 3 wickets. In the finishing overs 16 to 20 also they lost 3 wickets and scored only 38 runs. So when we look at this breakdown, their last 10 overs were very dismal, because of which they could only score 135. And when South Africa came to bat, it wasn't that easy for South Africa as well. We will also have a look at the dot balls that West Indies played. They faced 57 deliveries as dot balls. This could also be one of the reasons why they lost this game. If they could have managed 15-20 singles out of these 57 balls, then their target could have gone up to 150 and the result could have been completely different, but it wasn't the case. And obviously Jansen, Shamsi, Maharaj, all of them were so well, they bowled so well that it was difficult for West Indies to score runs. And the big players from West Indies, Rutherford, Powell, Pooran, Akil Hussain, all of them failed to score runs. And Roston Chase, who we have seen that generally rescues West Indies innings while batting, he obviously came to rescue, and due to his innings of 52 of 42, West Indies could score 135 for 8. When South Africa came to chase, it wasn't that easy. They could also chase it down on the Duckworth-Lewis method, and they chased 124 in 16.1 overs, and they lost 7 wickets. And from their side also, the middle order was the one who scored runs, and openers and one down players could not make many runs. So Stubbs scored 29 of 27. Klaasen, who was outstanding, he scored 22 of just 10, and he was the one who actually turned the game round. When Klaasen came, things were very difficult for South Africa. Their openers had already gone out, and his innings of 22 actually rescued South Africa. And when I was looking at Klaasen innings, I reminded of Haris, who used to do the similar role for Pakistan in the last T20 World Cup. So this innings was outstanding. Janssen, who did well with the ball as well, batted good as well. He scored 21 of just 14. We'll further talk on this game, and we'll talk about the game that is to be played today between India and Australia, which will tell us as to who is going to qualify in the Group 1. We are talking through the game between South Africa and West Indies, which South Africa won by 3 wickets with 5 balls to spare, whereby South Africa qualify for the semi-finals, and they topped Group 1, which had England on the second position, who also qualify for the next round. And with the games to be played today evening and tomorrow morning, Group 1 will also be settled down as to which 2 teams qualify for the semi-finals. And this game of cricket between South Africa and West Indies was a classic one, and it was only because of the rain that chasing on this wicket was easy, and South Africa was very lucky. But if we look at the scores of South African batting, it was not that easy for them as well. In the power plays, they lost 3 wickets. They only scored 50, and in the overs between 7 to 10, they scored 39, and they lost 1 wicket. And in the overs between 11 and 15, they scored 21 and lost 2 wickets. And in the 16th over, they won the game by 3 wickets, and 5 balls were to spare. And if you look at this chase, at one stage they were 15 for 2 when the rain came in, and the revised total for South Africa was 124 in 17 overs, which they managed to chase down 5 balls before the 17th over finished. So Klaasen and Stubbs, they were the ones who managed for South Africa to chase it down. And like I said, Klaasen was outstanding. He scored very fast runs. He scored 22 of just 10 balls. And on this was such a difficult ground that players like Miller was also struggling, and Quinton de Kock, who's been the hero for the last 2 games for South Africa, also got out very early. But it's because of Klaasen, Rabada and Janssen, who scored quick runs, because of which South Africa could win this game. And Roston Chase must be highlighted here, because he not just batted well with 52 runs, but he also took 3 wickets as well. So if there had to be one man of the match from West Indies, it had to be Roston Chase. He's outstanding with the bat, and he bowled exceptionally well as well. And when we look at the West Indies bowling effort, Andre Russell also took 2 wickets and conceded 19 runs. Alzari Joseph, their premier pacer, also took 2 wickets and conceded 25 runs. So these 2 games result in a loss for both the hosts, and both the hosts now are out of this World Cup, West Indies and USA. But West Indies fought hard in Super 8, and they were one of the favorites to win the World Cup or play the semi-finals. But now they are down and out, and USA is also out of the tournament. So England and South Africa have qualified for ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024 for the semi-finals, and Group 1 will be decided tonight, rather tomorrow morning, because one game is to be played tonight between India and Australia. And we know these 2 teams were in the finals of 50 over men's World Cup in 2023. So a lot to balance out for India in this game, but we'll wait and see as to what happens, because Australia has already lost to Afghanistan, whereby this group is wide open. Any team can be in the semi-finals. There are a lot of permutations, combinations as to which team should beat the other team, and the net run rate will also come into play. But we expect the game between Australia and India to be a nail-biter one, and India is almost already qualified with 2 wins and they have the advantage. They are on top of the group. But Australia, Afghanistan and Bangladesh, all of them are in the contention. So when we look at the games, these 2 games where they are going to be played, the India and Australia game is going to be played 7:30 p.m. tonight at St. Lucia, where the toss is not going to be that critical because team batting first have won 3 matches and team batting second have won 2 games. So no difference between team batting first and team batting second. But one thing is very important, that this ground is a high scoring ground. So we expect a good game of cricket at St. Lucia between India and Australia. The second game, that is to be played tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. is between Afghanistan and Bangladesh, which is going to be played at St. Vincent. But this ground has a very good record for team batting first. I think 100% record for team batting first. 4 games, all 4 have been won by the team batting first. So the toss is going to be very critical. And on this ground, the highest total in this year's T20 World Cup is 159 for 5. It was scored between the game that was played between Bangladesh and Netherlands, which Bangladesh managed to win the game. So winning the toss and batting first is going to be critical in the game between Bangladesh and Afghanistan. And like I said, all of these teams have the chance to qualify for the next round. Let's hope that Bangladesh puts a lot of effort in this game, because they were very down and out in the game against India, and this is how they do it. I mean, in all of the big tournaments, they do qualify for the next round, but when they do qualify for the next round, they don't give their best in those later stages of the tournament. So we expect Bangladesh to do well in this game and give a tough time to Afghanistan. And the game between India and Australia is going to be an outstanding game. We've seen that Indian bowlers are absolutely unplayable in this tournament, especially with the likes of Bumrah and their spinners. So it's not going to be that easy for Australia to win this game. But again, we know that on a big stage, Australia comes very hard, and especially against India, they have such a rivalry that this game is completely different ball game when these 2 teams come together and play the game. So we expect both these teams to go well, and like I said, Group 1 will be decided based on these 2 games, and all of these sides can make it to the semi-finals. Now we'll have to see which 2 teams will qualify in the Group 1 and will play against the likes of England and South Africa, who have already qualified from the Group 1, and it's the end of the game for USA and West Indies, the co-hosts. Both of these teams have been down and out after they lost to England and South Africa respectively. Alright, so we expect these 2 games to be very good, and we'll talk about these 2 games in complete detail, and tomorrow we'll have complete 4 teams who will be playing the semi-finals. So it's now time for me to say goodbye to all of you. I'll catch all of you guys in tomorrow's show. Until then, goodbye.